What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bolsling. That's the one and the only. It is Scott Savage. Scott, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, I've been having a great time crushing 007. That's almost the only gaming memory I have from, like, this whole week.
Nice. You can catch that on this week's episode, Scott's overall impressions, which I think you kind of may have just gathered. What else you can catch right now over on our YouTube channel is Scott's review of... Scott, what'd you review?
007 GoldenEye, of course, and also SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake. That one was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that one right now is live on our YouTube channel. But where we are is we're live too over on our YouTube channel at the official ITG, as well as twitch.com/TV/ITG, something like that. You can find us over there as well. And of course, if you can't find us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, today's show is an interesting one. Phil Spencer claims the importance of 343 and Halo for the future of Xbox. Did Horizon's multiplayer game just get leaked? And the latest game from Turn 10 Studios may have been delayed. Oh, man. Dude, they just revealed
another one.
Like, they just revealed it. And now it's, goodbye. It's over. It's gone. It's delayed. Nobody knows when. But we do know what's going on with Halo and Mr. Phil Spencer, the big boss man himself. Let's get into it. Phil Spencer claims...
Emperor of gaming.
Phil Spencer claims 343 remains critically important to Halo despite wave of cuts. This is Jordan Miller over at VGC. Microsoft's head of gaming has claimed that 343 is critically important to the success of Halo, despite a recent wave of job cuts. Speaking in a new interview with IGN, Xbox boss Phil Spencer reflected on the turbulent few weeks for the Halo developer, which resulted in the studio having to tweet reassurance that it will continue to work on the franchise. Quote, what we're doing now is what we want to make sure that leadership team is set up with the flexibility to build the plan they need to go to build. And Halo will remain critically important to what Xbox is doing, and 343 is critically important to the success of Halo. Quote, I'm going to let 343 talk about the plans that they have right now, that people know that they have the next season that's coming up, and they're excited about that, end quote. Phil Spencer had that to say. Scott, are you excited for the next season of Halo at all?
I've kind of lost track really of where Halo's even at nowadays. I was keeping up with it and checking in quite a while, and for weeks there I was bouncing between Halo Infinite and the Master Chief Collection, but I just because of all the turbulence with it, I'm just put Halo down for now.
Yeah, I think you did, and so have a lot of other people. This is why we're getting into this reassurance thing right now with 343 taking to social media and say, hey, no, we're okay. We're still working on the game, yada, yada, yada kind of thing. And hopefully they'll make it work. I'm really kind of at an awe at this point, I think, for Halo and 343. I'm saddened. I'm disappointed. It's kind of just one of those things. I'm hoping that the team can really turn around. Obviously, we all know about the job cuts that came out of Bethesda and Xbox and 343 and actually kind of like industry wide. It's just been enormous amount of cuts and layoffs going on, and that's just, it's awful to see that, right? We are one of the biggest industries around, and the fact that we're starting to make cuts in our industry as well is just hard to see. But hopefully they'll get back on their feet. Scott, quote, they've got some other things, some rumored, some announced that they'll be working on. They're excited about the plan forward. I look at it, say, man, this is a weird phrasing. I look at, say, the work that they've done on Forge and the amazing support we've had from creators there. The timeline for Halo. True. Yeah, okay. Have you jumped into Forge?
I haven't played any of the Forge maps myself, but I've seen some amazing content. Mm-hmm. People recreating, the entire first level of Doom and things like that.
It's nuts. Dude, it's awesome to see. They have such a plethora of tools at your disposal right now in Forge. Like, it is amazing. It is really daunting to kind of get in there if you are not a high level kind of content creator on the like level design side of things. You are really gonna have to learn that format, and some may take it a little bit easier than others. But when he gets into this, dude, I jumped in and started going like, wow, there is a lot here. Like, there's a lot from script work to just simple building to really how complex do you want to make it. And there's a lot to it to unpack, and I've seen a lot of videos online as well. I'm
sort of reminds me of in Doom. There was the snap map where you could edit your own levels and put them together, but it was such a basic kind of rudimentary system of just attaching different shapes together to make the map. No, that is not the case here. I got into Forge and I thought, okay, I'll just put something down over here, and then I just really couldn't figure out how to do anything.
He couldn't even figure out how to put something down. It is really complex, yeah. Which is exciting to see, because then it opens up opportunities for those who really want to dive in deep and create some of the coolest content you'll see over there. And there's a lot kind of popping off right now, which is pretty exciting to see. At least the community is able to keep the Forge mode going. I still go back though, Scott, to if we would have got the campaign, Forge mode, a co-op, like everything all at once, would we be talking about this in a different light?
I think so. I think the main problem is that it was kind of put out in pieces, and that made the whole thing overall just less impressive.
No, absolutely. The timeline for Halo is always going to be one of those things in my mind that is part of Xbox lore, part of the foundation of what Xbox is about. Spencer acknowledged the failures of 343 to deliver on the live service aspect of the game. Quote, when we launched that game, we know we needed to make sure commitments to people about the content updates and our timing on those and the quality. And we didn't hit our own bar for doing that. Dude, that sucks, right? It's going to take some time. We've seen a lot of games come out, not hit the benchmark whatsoever. And in fact, completely fall flat on its face and yet been able to spin it around. And I kind of have that hope here for 343 and the Halo franchise. I really want to see them spinning around. Last week we talked about it though, how Neil Druckmann and the team over at Naughty Dog isn't pressured to do another Last of Us. They're not pressured to do another Uncharted. It is really up to them to do what they want to do. And I'm not saying that 343 doesn't have the capabilities of doing what they want to do or the pressure from up top, but it seems like, dude, they're just one studio for one particular game. And have they just hit Halo burnout after all these years of working on Halo? Wouldn't it be kind of nice to see them do something else?
I think so. I like the idea of opening up a new IP, and I think I support that in almost every case.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, dude, give them a small break. Let them go make something else, and then maybe come back and feel re-energized for Halo, right? I think you keep a small team on the multiplayer, though.
I hope we see that with Playground Games.
Well,
after they come back from Fable, it just hopefully rejuvenates a whole lot of them into whatever the next project is.
The next Forza Horizon, right?
Most likely Forza, yeah. Or Fable 2. Let's keep it going.
You know, it's funny because when I take a look at PlayStation Studios versus Xbox Studios, Xbox has a studio, you get that franchise and work on it. Where PlayStation is like, you're our studio, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of see two models here. And one is kind of favoring more than the other right now when it comes to overall reach and things along that line, right? Like, dude, I can guarantee you, Sony Santa Monica is not forced to do the next God of War. If they come up with something else, then that's what they're going to be able to do. It's kind of where I'm seeing from the outside in right now, at least from my perspective. I think that's what we can expect. Where Xbox is 343, you have Halo. Coalition, you have Gears. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just keeps going. So when we heard that Playground Games was coming out with Fable, like, wow. First of all, they're a racing team. Right?
Yeah.
So, and they've nailed it. They've nailed Forza Horizon for years. It's been fantastic. That is one of my go-to racing games of all time. Actually, I love 3. Dude, 3 down in Australia was like one of the best. Absolutely adore it.
I'm not sure which one I started playing. It was a 360 title. I have it downloaded now.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh, I'm playing it and I'm thinking to myself, I should really just play 5. 5 is the new shiny.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those that it's, here we go. Playground is branching out, doing something new. So when they come back to Forza, are they rejuvenated and kind of feel anxious to kind of get back in the wheelhouse? Or do they want to kind of move on to another Fable game? It's nice to see them just kind of branch out. And I would love to see that happen with 343. And maybe we can leave Halo for a bit of a period and then come back to it again. Because right now, dude, what we've seen just isn't working.
Yeah, well, because of this, I don't think there's much hunger for a new Halo.
No.
Not for what's going to be years, likely.
Yeah, no. But there's a lot of hunger right now, Scott, for Horizon multiplayer. It leaked, apparently, reveals the alpha gameplay and art. This is very interesting. Tom Henderson over Insider Gaming. Hours ago, a 12-minute clip showing alpha footage from the Horizon multiplayer project leaked online, along with key concept art that reveals quite clearly a unique art style and direction for the game. In the leak, we've exposed to several character models traversing a world that is unmistakably Horizon. Great. That's kind of where it should be, right? You should expect that, Scott. But at the same time, looks like a completely different game. Here's where I get concerned. There's a color palette that is reminiscent of Fortnite, Scott.
Oh.
Here we go. And the textures have been reworked to appear brighter, less detailed, and low res than the main series. What? Dude, why were we doing this? I wanted a Monster Hunter multiplayer. Now, granted, this could be fantastic and just a different spin on the art style, but at the same time, what we've grown with Aloy's story over the past 2 games, and then heading into Burning Shores, and then heading off into Call of the Mountain. Dude, like, we're heading into VR next with Aloy. Well, not even Aloy. It's Aloy's world, I'll call it, right? With Horizon. But they haven't deviated from the art style. When you suddenly introduce this whole aspect of Fortnite-esque art style, it presents itself as a different kind of game. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm not such a fan of that kind of Fortnite aesthetic, just because it's been years and years now, and I'm not really super impressed by it. Even when we jump into Dauntless, something like that, it's much more simplified. It doesn't
Yeah.
look like Fortnite exactly, but I don't. I thought we were pushing forward with each release, and this kind of seems like a step back. And does this give you any sort of worry for Call of the Mountain?
No, not for Call of the Mountain. I've seen enough of the demos that have been exposed. I just read an article from friend of the show, Steve Egvari, talking about PlayStation VR 2 and Call of the Mountain as well, and how much he enjoyed that and just has high expectations. I've only heard good things about Call of the Mountain, so hopefully we'll get hands on and I'll be able to give you my opinion moving forward. But we'll see how that goes. But it's the approach to the art style that to me seems like they're really kind of changing up the game. Yes, they're going to bring in multiplayer. Okay, that's cool. I'm like, dude, I'm so down for a multiplayer aspect for Aloy. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. But what audience are they going for? Are they going for the hardcore
Yeah,
fans, or are they going for the Fortnite fans, right? The younger generation here, kind of like my kid, kind of, Garrett's 11 years old, all into Fortnite, just loves it, which is great. Fortnite's a cool platform, but Fortnite's its own thing. Dude, we jumped into Dauntless
yeah.
the other day. Scott, I wasn't feeling it, dude. Were you feeling it?
No, no,
No, right?
I kind of forgot how to really play my character out.
Yeah. As much as I loved playing Dauntless back in the day, I now really just kind of want to get into what was it? Wild Hearts is
Mhm.
coming up, right? Like that's another one. There's a whole
We're
other
we're
Monster Hunter.
steering you. We're steering you to Monster Hunter slowly. I know you're gonna get there eventually.
Well, and then we got Burning Shores DLC. So we're getting more DLC, more content for Aloy when it comes to the Horizon universe. We're getting Burning Shores, but this whole other multiplayer aspect really has me on the fence if this is the direction that I want to jump into moving forward as such a fan of the Horizon franchise. I don't know. It'd
If it
be interesting
has
to
that,
see.
if it has that Fortnite aesthetic, is it going to? That does bring some concern for me. Is that going to be just a really suppressed, not serious take on what
Yeah.
I believe should be a very serious world?
Well, that's just it, right? Like when we are so invested in what we've known as Aloy's world, then to take a whole other approach could separate the player base, right? We could see some of us not even want to
Yeah,
bother, and then others who are going to give it a try and maybe I really enjoy it. Who knows? We'll see what happens in the end. But over on Reddit, the 12-minute video revealing the Horizon multiplayer alpha was leaked, promoting discussions into what was on display, from what appears to be base building elements to a cartoony Fortnite-esque art style that seems pulls apart from the main series. Horizon multiplayer certainly appears to be, at least at face value, a complete separation from Aloy's saga. Time will tell, Scott. Time will tell.
I
But
just hope we're not doing flossing dances.
no, please don't. Please don't. Let's not do that.
No,
But
it has a place in Fortnite, but not
yes.
many places elsewhere.
No. Yeah, well, yeah. Scott, let's get into Forza. Motorsport has reportedly been delayed from a spring release window. That's all we've known is that but a window. We weren't actually given a date. This is Owen over at VG 24/7. According to a new report, Forza Motorsport has been delayed out of its spring 2023 release window to its early as Q3, maybe even a bit later. It was just this week or last week that Microsoft showed off a chunk of Forza Motorsport gameplay at the Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct presentation. But viewers noticed that the release window provided was a vague 2023 rather than a more specific spring 2023, as noted in the trailer for the game at last year's Xbox and Bethesda Summer Showcase. Now, Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, known for his insider information, has expanded upon this with the claim that the game has been slightly delayed. Scott, any surprises?
Well, no, not terribly surprised there, but at least they did the thing of here's a window instead of nailing down a direct date immediately, because that's
Yeah.
a mistake that I think we've seen time and time again
Oh,
now.
so many times. Yeah, no, I think you're right though, Scott, right? They said a window and it gives them a little wiggle room to kind of move if they need to, right? There's something that's just not quite ironed out when it comes to the gameplay and stuff like that. It's not quite working. So maybe we just need to bump it a little bit longer. So we'll
Well,
see.
and talking about pushing technology forward, this is what I
Oh man.
expect Forza Motorsport to do.
Yeah. That's what I said, right? When you talk about launching a new console, you always get the car racing games in there because they can show off the high, the new graphics and all the detail and all the bells and whistles.
The weather systems and yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. Again, it's just one of those things. Games are hard, so they take more time than what we all want as gamers, right? But Scott, I got some sad news. We have some sad news coming. Annie Wershing, the Last of Us game and 24 actress, dies at age 45. Thoughts and our prayers and things go out to her family, everybody affected by Annie. She had an amazing career. And it's just super sad news. This comes from Matthew over at IGN. Acclaimed actress Annie Wershing has passed away at the age of 45 after a prolonged battle with cancer. As reported by Deadline, Wershing was diagnosed with cancer in 2020, yet continued her acting career, appearing in both Star Trek Picard and The Rookie. She was also known for playing as Tess in The Last of Us, Scott, in 2013's game. So, some sad news.
Puts her right in the current events.
Yeah, it does, right? Of all things, it is one of those. It's just unfortunate to see. Age 45, dude, is not old. Like this 20 years older than me, and it's just one of those. Wow, that's cancer sucks.
Too young, in my opinion.
Far too young. Absolutely far too young. I know a lot of people with cancer who've had cancer, still have cancer, and are still fighting cancer. It's just one of those. Man, hopefully one day we'll get a cure.
We all will. I think everybody's been touched on the planet by it.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, our hearts go out to the family and our condolences. Scott, let's move on to something else. Let's get into the world of Kingdoms of Amalur, a re-reckoning studio working on a high-profile THQ Nordic IP. We will see about that, Scott. Jordan Midler over at VGC has this to say. So, Kingdoms of Amalur re-reckoning developer Kaeko is working on a high-profile THQ Nordic IP action-adventure genre, according to a job listing. The studio behind, you ready for this? Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered. Like, oh, dude, Darksiders.
I loved that one.
War Mastered Edition. Like, how about they hire somebody to rename these things? Because these are bad. I get what they're playing off of, and it's funny, but man, oh man, it's rough. Scott, the biggest thing for me is like, what are they working on? Is it a THQ Nordic IP, which is now under the Embracer Group, if I'm correct about that, right? It's like, there's a long list of titles they've acquired.
Just thinking that.
Especially as of late.
And THQ Nordic on its own, I believe, just has a huge amount of IP underneath.
I was looking at it, and I'm on their wiki forum, and I'm looking like, what game could they pull back? They've had some recently with Remnant from the Ashes, but I'm kind of going, where else? They sold Time Splitters to Deep Silver.
Oh,
why would they do that?
Yeah, I think we need another Time Splitters game.
I couldn't believe it. Have you ever heard of a game called Second Sight?
No,
actually. Oh man, okay, so
not from memory.
Back in the day on PS2, I beat Second Sight, and I absolutely adored Second Sight. It was kind of remind me a little bit of Psyops back in the day, and I adored it. So man, if they could bring that back, I don't think they ever would, but it's just kind of one of those things. I saw that they had the rights to it. I was like, really? Could they be working on a brand new Kingdoms of Amalur game?
If anybody brings back Time Splitters, that would be a momentous time for the games.
No, absolutely. And of course, do you think we'll get another Red Faction?
Ooh, it's been quite some time since the last Red Faction, I think.
Yeah, very.
I don't recall if Remastered is really the last drop they had.
So bad. Yeah. I don't know.
That game is so good, though.
Well, they all, at least there's that, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. What they're working on. It's one of those things, dude. They have a long list in their back catalog. With like pulling out something from like the long lineage of their lineup, or are they going into something brand new with a brand new IP? At this point, I'm taking a look and I'm going, maybe they should hopefully just come up with something new, and we'll see where it goes.
I've not played any Kingdoms of Amalur. Have you?
I did, actually. And then we played the Re-Reckoning as well and reviewed it on the show. You can take a look at that over at youtube.com/theofficial ITG, as well as InsideTheGame.ca. But we had a good time. Nate and I reviewed it. It was pretty good, but it felt just more of the same, just kind of up-resed a little bit. And yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was, if you played it back in the day, you kind of played the newer version. It's one of those things, though. It was kind of, the story's good, but there's a lot of things missing in between. And it just, yeah, felt clunky. It felt pretty clunky, dude. But this is the way that goes. Scott, we do have one last article to get to today before we wrap this up. Tomb Raider TV series in the works at Amazon from Fleabag Writer. That is actually the name of this company. That's just Scott Bailey over at IGN. After
not just an unfortunate explanation of the writer.
It's, man, why would you do that? No. After a long break, Lara Croft is on the comeback trail. THR reports that a television show about the famous video game adventurer is in development at Amazon, with Fleabag writer Phoebe Waller-Bridge attached to pen the script and executive produce. Scott, man, how many things do we need to go over to television now?
Yeah, well, everybody wants to try their hand if there's going to be any success to it at all. And well, there has been several Tomb Raider movies. I don't think I saw the last one, though.
Oh, really? I can't recall. It's been
was that? I think that Alicia Vikander starred, or perhaps that's the voice actress. I may be mistaken on that, but
yeah, I don't know.
That one I did not see. But of course, I remember the Angelina Jolie ones.
Dude, that was back in the day. I saw those too.
I think I was like 12.
So we're getting a TV show apparently now. We're getting a new game. We know that's in development. So I'm more excited for the game, I think, than the TV show. I think the TV show could be kind of cringy, but we'll find out. We'll probably jump in and have a watch. I want to see what it's all about, man. I grew up with Tomb Raider, so it's one of those things. Scott, we do have a couple games out today, though, my friend. What do we have?
We have Trek to Yomi has made its way to the Switch, and Power Wash Simulator is now on the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, and 5. And I believe that coincides with the new season of content with it.
Nice. That's pretty cool. There you go. You gonna play Power Washer Simulator?
I may, that's the last time I touched a dirt bike. Gives me memories of cleaning them off.
Kyle was playing it on the Xbox too. It's funny. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Scott, just like that, my friend, it's gonna wrap up today's show. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the highest in gaming news. You can always join us live at 11 a.m. Eastern over on Twitch, as well as YouTube at the official ITG. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Until tomorrow, everybody, I'm Drew, that's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.